Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to say, call hello, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakar, Kodash. I want to send double honors to the apostles, elders, bishops, the great millstone. Much peace, love, salutations to Yakim out there pushing the word of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, in sincerity and in truth. This is the brother Ariala. This is just a quick lesson. It's something that we always talk about on the highways and byways, and sometimes even on sit-downs, about how Esau's economy is predatory. It preys on people. It takes advantage of people. You know, in a system of where they've justified making profits above having morals and standards, you produce a toxic situation of decadence where the elite and the people that have prey on those that don't have and don't have access. And so now you live in a system where it's just scam likely. Everything's a goddamn scam. You know, you have to look into everything. You got to read the label. You got to read the fine print because it's just a predatory system. And the Most High says a system like that is not going to make it. You know, there's scriptures that say that. You know, let's see. Proverbs 28:6 says, "Better is the poor that walketh in his uprightness than he that is perverse in his ways, though he be rich." See? Verse 8 says, "He that by usury and unjust gain increaseth his substance, he shall gather it for him that will pity the poor." Okay? So people that gather through wickedness, they're not going to be able to keep it. And that's why we see America in the West on a downward spiral. You know, every single week we say we're going to bring out this in Habakkuk, the second chapter, where it leads into verse 6, talking about that thick clay. This system of economy is just out of control. It's out of control. So I typed some questions into Chat GPT. Wanted to get a little edification off with that, man, and Lord willing, man, and it brings things home. I put, what is predatory capitalism? It says predatory capitalism is a critical term used to describe forms of capitalism where powerful individuals, corporations, or financial institutions, right, like banks, right, insurance companies, these are financial institutions, hedge funds, right, or financial institutions extract wealth in exploitative ways, causing harm to workers, consumers, communities, or the broader economy, right? Often while skirting the spirit or letter of the law. All right, so this is how they take advantage of people. They put you into contracts and they wait till you turn, 52 years old, and then they say, "Oh, we got to let you go," and just right before you get your pension or however it works, they're able to go into different environments, different parts of the world, and extract resources, and it kills off one animal, and then when that animal dies, it causes a cascade down the ecosystem and kills off all these other animals. And they don't care as long as they make a profit. As long as it makes the stockholders money, right? It says it's not a formal economic system, but a moral and social critique of how capitalism can be practiced. And that's why I like to go and read in Revelation, the 18th chapter, where it talks about she have glorified herself and lived deliciously. Right? This way of being is just consuming. Like it talks about in Wisdom of Solomon, the second chapter. They don't care about what they do and how it affects people. It says core characteristics of predatory capitalism. 1, exploitation, right, of vulnerability. Profit is made by targeting people who have limited choices or information. Payday loans with extreme interest rates. Subprime lending that traps borrowers in debt. Price gouging during crisis, disasters, and pandemics. We see these things all the time. One of the things that we always advise brothers when they come into the crossover, brother might get behind on the bill and he doesn't want to tell anybody that he's behind on the bill because he's embarrassed. And so he'll go get a damn payday loan. And I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, 9.9 times out of 10, you'll never pay that payday loan back unless you get help from brothers. Because of the interest rates, the usury that they put on it. Right? And they'll have it to where they'll have a certain usury rate. And if you're late on a payment, it skyrockets on your ass. And you through. Then on the back end, because they know they ain't gonna get no money, they have insurance on the loan that they gave out on you, to where when they close it out and send it off for collections, the insurance closes the gap on how much money they missed out on. So they wasn't gonna lose their money anyway. They just fucking with you. This is what they do, man. Subprime lending. My sister got smacked with that, man. You know, you get trapped in these debt cycles, and they end up taking you home anyway, right? Taking your property anyway. All right. This is this system, man, of credit cards right now. Trump got it. They're talking about we need to get the credit card rates down. Some places it's 30%. Yeah, 27 to 30% interest rates on credit cards, man. With people living paycheck to paycheck, they're getting smacked by inflation that's happening because of the printing of the dollar. Their dollar is worth less. Now, they're not being compensated with increasing wages. See, really, your wages are supposed to increase at the rate of inflation to keep you afloat. No. You keep the same little money that you've been making. They give you a 5-cent raise. Meanwhile, everything is $2 more. So how do people fill the gap? Credit cards, credit. And now you done spent $1,000 on your credit card. You're making these minimum payments, and you're getting absolutely destroyed because the payments that you're making are only going towards the interest, never towards the principal. Same thing with your house. It's an exploitation, man. This is a system where it's just insatiable. It's insatiable. This is what they do to people. You know? Number 2 says wealth extraction without value creation. Instead of creating real goods or services, wealth is pulled out of communities. Asset stripping companies after leveraged buyouts, rent-seeking behavior, charging for access rather than producing value. They charge you just to pull up. Financial speculation that destabilizes markets. Everything is put on futures, options, this and that in the market, but there's really no value that's being added. It's just a bunch of gambling. And people get up in that thing and get smacked on leverage. Right? Every single day you see people trading on options, trading on margin. And then they put in more than what they have. They make a bet with more than that they have. And if it misses, cooked. Barbecue. Millions and millions of dollars, billions of dollars being lost in the market. This is predatory. The system shouldn't even let you do stuff like that just to protect everybody. Okay? 3, concentration of power. This is a big one. Economic power becomes centralized, reducing competition and accountability. Monopolies or oligopolies, right? Regulatory capture. Corporations influence regulators, right? Too big to fail institutions. We've seen that back into the 2008 collapse. Too big to fail. Now we know about these monopolies. If you don't think Amazon is a monopoly, you're a damn fool. They control the internet. Walmart's come in and literally wiping out small businesses. Corporations getting to bypass regulations and sanctions and fees that the small man has to pay because they can cut the people a check. So it gives them an advantage in the market. This is predatory. When you are like I'm a dentist, right? Doctors that have multiple offices get contracts with the big time dental supply companies, and they get discounted rates, making them be able to save more money, hand over fist, charge cheaper. People think oh man, this is expensive. It's more expensive for me. You know? So that's how it goes. It's predatory. That's how the system is. It says externalizing harm. Costs are shifted on others while profits are privatized. Environmental pollution, you got to pay. We got to pay for that. There's taxes on that. Worker injuries without adequate compensation. We see that all day. Workers' comp benefits are trash. The insurance companies, literally, you paying these guys hundreds of dollars a month, and then when you actually need it, they only pay a small portion of what you actually went in for. It's like, what the hell am I paying these people for if they can't even cover me? Public bailouts after private risk taking. These companies put all this money into different hedge funds, make these bets in the market, and when the market crashes, do they have to pay it? Nope. They get bailed out. Taxpayer dollars. Predatory. This creates a toxic environment, man, in society as a whole. It says, number 5, erosion of ethics and social responsibility. Short-term profit overrides long-term stability or human well-being. Cutting wages while executive pay soars. We see that. Suppressing labor organization, misleading marketing or plan, obsolescence. Now, we see this all the time, and this is why we have a degraded society. Point blank, period. Okay? Isaiah 24:4 says this. It says, the earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. All these big companies, governments, and corporations and institutions, they cut around the law to make profit. This is why the earth is jacked up. This is why the people in the earth is jacked up. We say this all the time. The earth needs new management. It says, therefore, have the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore, the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry men do sigh. Right? The mirth of tabret ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the harp ceaseth. They shall not drink wine with a song, strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. The city of confusion is broken down, every house is shut up, and no man may come in. See? So there's with the way that this society is rolling, everybody's tired, beat down, depressed, okay? Barely making ends meet. Meanwhile, you have this huge upper elite. Just huge gaps, okay? In classes. There's only an upper class now. In the lower class, there's no middle. Okay? Let me skip down. Oh, they putting scriptures in there. Okay, it's funny how now in the chat GPT, if you trend a certain type of way, they'll just start adding scriptures and stuff in there for you. I didn't even see that when I pulled this up. It says, what's its moral and philosophical critiques? Predatory capitalism is criticized across ideological lines. Religious ethics condemns exploitation of the poor. Proverbs 20:22 and Sirach 34:31. Yeah, depriving a man of his food. I might go pull that in a minute. You know, matter of fact, let me get that right now. What is 34? Let me see. Sirach 34. What was it? 21. Let me see. Right. Yeah, Sirach 34:21. The bread of the needy is their life. He that defraudeth him thereof is a man of blood. He that taketh away his neighbor's living slayeth him, and he that defraudeth the labor of his hire is a bloodshedder. Man, facts. And that's what we see, man. Even getting paid once a month, the way you get your wages, you got to wait on it. That's really fraud, bro. You know? Then I put, how does it affect a society and an environment? It says predatory capitalism affects a society and its environment in deep compounding ways. Its impacts are not just economic, they are social, moral, political, and ecological, right? Effects on society, rising inequality and social fragmentation. Wealth concentrates at the top while wages stagnate. The middle class shrinks, poverty becomes entrenched. Social trust erodes. People feel the system is rigged. Is that not America in the West? Result, resentment, polarization, crime, and unrest. That's why you have high crime in low income areas, because people are tired and they resort to beast-like behavior. But if you actually had a system that where the wealth was centralized but utilized in a righteous manner, people would thrive and be happy. It will reduce crime. Okay? Just like in ancient Israel, you did what you had. You had your crops, you had your cattle, or you had your goods and your services that you provide. And you did what? You gave a tenth to the temple, to the priesthood, which was basically the centralized government. And anything that needed to be taken care of from the priesthood would be handled. Situations and circumstances. It would be judged and handled. Didn't have to worry about it. Okay? We're going to go back to that type of style, man. 2, it says debt and economic enslavement. Predatory lending traps individuals and families in cycles of debt. People work more hours just to stay afloat, not to advance. Because you're just paying off what? You're just paying off usury, interest. Communities become financially fragile. Result, stress, mental health decline, delayed family formation, lower birth rates. You have a languishing society. That's what I read in Isaiah the 24th chapter. Now you got people who are not having kids till they 35, 36, running around with your kids. You 42, your son 5. You tired as hell. Because you didn't want to start a family when you was 24. You was through. You didn't have no money. You was already in student loan debt, credit card debt. Can't get a house, get a mortgage, then you have that mortgage debt. Right? You get out and you get this baseline wage with this degree that you got, making $32,000 a year through. You ain't got time to have no family. Right? It's just a trap, man. 3, erosion of civic institutions. Corporations influence laws and regulators. Public goods like healthcare, housing, water, prisons become profit centers. We all know of the prison industrial complex. We see how the environmental stuff deal with water. It's profit centers, man. Privatized healthcare. The price of drugs just skyrocketing. Pharmaceutical companies and insurance companies run your healthcare. These are all for profit institutions. They don't give a damn about your health. See? It says democracy weakens as money replaces consent. So the haves get to tell all the rules and bend and twist everything for their gain, for their advantage. This is the society we live in, man. 4, dehumanization of labor. Workers are treated as costs to be minimized. We're going to see that as AI comes to the forefront. The biggest bill you're going to have as a business owner is labor, 9 times out of 10, depending on if you have employees. Right? It says job insecurity, gig labor, and automation without safeguards rise. Right? Skills are discarded rather than developed. Result, loss of dignity, purpose, and community identity. Everybody's just on their own. Dog eat dog. Individuals. This is why this place is just collapsing, man. The way you run your society is a big deal. That's what the scripture says. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. We're in a mourning society. Everybody's tired. Everybody's mentally destroyed. I get to see 25-year-olds come into my office, just health is jacked. And they really have no clue. You know? It's just full of disease, just living for the city. 5, moral and cultural decay. This is decadence. Success is defined by profit alone. Exploitation becomes normalized. Hey man, don't take it personal, man. It's just business. Esau hit you with that real quick. It's totally screw you over, bro. For profit. It's normalized. If you get scammed, it's your fault. If you get cheated, it was your bad. You should have paid more attention. You're a fool. It's normalized to be a damn criminal in this place. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil. You know? Let's get that. What's that? Isaiah 5. I want to say 20. Right? Isaiah 5 and 20 says, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. See? Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine and men of strength to mingle strong drink, which justify the wicked for reward and take away the righteousness of the righteous from him. See? Whoa, that's why this place is going to go down. This type of system is not sustainable. It has to go down. Virtues like stewardship, restraint, and justice are sidelined. And I mentioned that. You know? That type of mindset is not uplifted in this place. It's all about what? Go get it. Why wait? It's all about impulse. Right? For the ungodly, Wisdom of Solomon 2:1, for the ungodly say, reasoning with themselves, but not aright. Our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy, neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. For we are born at all adventure, and we shall be hereafter as though we had never been. For the breath in our nostrils is as smoke, and a little spark in the moving of our heart. Which being extinguished, our body shall be turned into ashes, and our spirit shall vanish as soft air. Hey, we're just here and we're gone. You know? We're skipping down to verse 6. It says, come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like as in youth. See? Just live riotously. It's all about happy hour at this point. It's all about personal impulse. That's why the women are fucking sluts. They have no restraint. The men are weak, no discipline, and it's just riot. It's just a riotous society. Okay, that's a problem. It says result: cynicism, materialism, and short-term thinking. That's Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter, man. Right? Pull this up. See if it'll pull up. Dun, 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 dun. Taking too long. Search it on Google. Cynicism is a deep distrust of others, motive stemming from a belief that people are primarily driven by self-interest, greed, or vanity, leading to a generally pessimistic, disillusioned view that societal values and institutions are corrupt and meaningless. Tell me that's not the state of how we live today. Do you trust your neighbor, or do you think your neighbor is looking to steal something from you when you go to work? Which one? Somebody's watching me. Somebody's out to get me. Somebody, your unknown call on your phone, you thinking somebody's trying to scam you, bro. Shit, people won't even give to homeless because it's like, man, that nigga ain't homeless. He's just trying to get my money. He probably got a Rolls Royce behind his 7-Eleven. We live in a highly distrustful society. Why? Because of the nature of how things are transacted in this place. Okay? It says effects on the environment. Resource over extraction. Forests, fisheries, soil, and water are depleted faster than they regenerate. We read in the scriptures where it talks about the land Sabbath, how you're supposed to farm the land. Do you think Esau is going to do that? Hell no. He got profits to make. We talk about all the time how they overfish the waters, creating a toxic environment in the marine ecosystem. They overfish crabs, lobsters, shrimp, and other critical creatures that keep the waters clean, the lakes clean, the rivers clean. They can never have enough. Indigenous and rural lands are disproportionately exploited. For what? Mineral resources, the topsoil. Result, ecosystem collapse and loss of biodiversity. This is happening all across the world where Esau comes in and chops down all the natural trees and plants pine trees and conifer trees that don't belong there. Predatory capitalism. This man has to be stopped, bro. He has to be stopped. Pollution and toxic exposure, waste and emissions are externalized to maximize profits. Poor and marginalized communities bear the brunt. For sure. Public health crisis and environmental injustice. You look at the situation that's going on in Michigan with the water. Just polluted as water because of different industrial corporations that go to that land because it's cheaper. And they pollute the land and areas around it. You go to these poor areas, man, that's where they set up all these steel mill factories and everything like that pollute the whole environment. They don't care. Climate destabilization. Fossil fuel dependence is prolonged for profit. Environmental regulations are weakened or delayed. Extreme weather, food insecurity, mass migration. That's what we see. Short-term environmental thinking. Quarterly profits outweigh long-term ecological health. Natural systems are treated as disposable inputs. Result, irreversible damage passed to future generations. See? This is how it goes down, man. I want to see. Show something. Let me see. I'm gonna read the scripture real quick. Revelation chapter 11, verse 18. It says, "And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth." This man has to be put out of the way to fix everything, man. Look at this shit. Check this out, bro. This is the amount of space junk orbiting the earth. Look at this. Just trash orbiting the earth. Look at it. Underneath this man's system. Just junk. Top interactive space trash maps. Let's see. Pull this up. Let's see what happens. While that's pulling up, I'm going to type this in. Eye-opening map shows where all the ocean trash is. It's probably gonna be too much for my po little tink tink. My little let's see this pull up. Space trash, ocean trash. It says the North Pacific Ocean contains the most plastic. Oceans ranked by estimate surface plastic. Look at this. In the North Pacific, 2 trillion pieces of plastic, pounds, 192.8 million pounds of trash. God damn. South Pacific has 491 billion pieces of trash, bro. It's ridiculous. 1.3 trillion pieces of trash in the Indian Ocean. We're going to have to go and clean all of this up, man. When we get Esau out the way, man. All because of his predatory system of wanting to just kill, eat, consume. You know? It's just nonstop, bro. It says the feedback loop. Why it gets worse over time. Predatory capitalism creates a self-reinforcing cycle. 1, extract wealth and resources. 2, weaken social and environmental safeguards. 3, increase inequality and ecological damage. 4, reduce resistance due to economic desperation. 5, enable further exploitation. This loop accelerates societal decline and environmental collapse if unchecked. And the only way that this place is going to be checked is how? Through the return of Yahushua. That's why this place is going to have to be burned. You know? Ethical perspective, it says many moral frameworks, religious, indigenous, and philosophical agree on this principle. An economy that destroys its people and its land to generate profit ultimately destroys itself. It talks about that in the scriptures. Okay? I'll read about that. Sirach 10 and 8, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. So you're going to have to get up out the power seat, Esau. We always say, you got the ball and you fumbled it. You got rulership and you ruined the earth. So you got to go. You got to go, man. You got to go. But the whole point of this, I wanted to just read a little bit about predatory capitalism because I know I always use that term. You know, I use that term. And I'm going to read a little bit more and then we'll close out. It says, historical examples where exploitative economics led to collapse. 1, late Roman Empire and Republican Empire. It says what happened? Wealth concentrated among the elites. The latifundia land estates. It says small farmers were crushed by debt, land loss. We have that happening with the farmers today and the ranchers today. It says slavery and cheap labor displaced citizens. Heavy taxation on the poor. Tax exemptions for elites. Same thing that we got going on right now. Nothing new under the sun. Political corruption and bread and circuses distractions. Do we not have that going on right now? Constant bread and circuses from UFC, boxing, football, basketball, baseball, soccer, whatever. It's constant to keep the people distracted. Reality TV, whatever. It says outcome, the middle class collapse. Military loyalty shifted from state to wealthy patrons. Civic virtue eroded. Right? People don't feel a duty for their town or their city. Right? Empire hollowed out before external invasions finished it. Okay? We always talk about in 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, civil unrest. Right? Key lesson. Rome didn't fall because it was invaded. It was invaded because it was already broken. And everybody saw a wounded animal that they can attack. 2. Ancient Sumer and Babylon. What happened? Debt bondage became widespread. Farmers lost land to creditors. Elites accumulated land and power. Periodic debt jubilees were required to prevent total collapse. Right? Outcome: when jubilees stopped or failed, societal breakdown followed. Agricultural collapse due to soil exhaustion and exploitation. Key lesson: unchecked debt extraction destabilizes civilization. We have the same thing going on right now. Okay. 3. French Inchine regime. This is pre-1789. Says what happened. Nobility exempt from most taxes. Peasantry heavily taxed and indebted. Food speculation during shortages. State captured by elite interests. Led to popular revolt. Violent revolution. Collapse of institutions. And, the French Revolution is one of the most famous revolutions of all time. Okay. Extreme inequality plus perceived injustice equals explosive collapse. Right? Let's see. I'm going to skip down. It mentions the Weimar Republic, the British Empire, how the British Empire degraded. It says 2. Parallels with modern America and the West. History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. There's nothing new under the sun. It says wealth concentration. Extreme wealth inequality rivaling late Rome. Asset ownership, like housing, land, and stocks, are concentrated. Like BlackRock's, these big top level corporations, they own every damn thing, man. That's what they say. 85% of the population holds like 99% of the wealth, something crazy like that. Like 90% of the wealth. Like, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. The top below 5% of people hold 90% of the wealth. And I think it's less than that. It might be like the top 2%. Okay. Says wages disconnected from productivity. Big time. Roman parallel, the latifundia replacing small farms. We'll have to go check that out in history. 2, it says debt-based life. Student debt, medical debt, housing debt. Citizens work to service debt, not to build wealth. Financial sector dominates productive economy. Just like consumer debt bondage cycle. Man, the America and the West has all the symptoms of a collapse. 3, financialization over production. Profits from speculation, not goods. Stock buybacks over investment. Short-term quarterly logic. Late empire parallel. Rent-seeking elites. These stock buybacks, like I'm telling you, it's all just a Ponzi scheme. 4, erosion of the middle class, shrinking ownership, gig labor replacing stable work. Gig labor is like what? Uber Eats and stuff like that. Okay. It says declining social mobility. Compared to the French Revolution, burdened peasantry, insulated elites. People get frustrated with that. People will get ready to revolt. Okay. 5, institutional capture. Corporations shape regulation, bailouts, socialized losses, privatized gains, justice perceived as unequal, right? Environmental overreach, we talked about that. Cultural symptoms, man, all of these, right? So then it gave me some scriptures. Micah 2:2, they covet fields and seize them, they oppress a man in his house. Isaiah 5:8, woe to those who join house to house and add field to field until there's no place left. That's a good one. Talks about the law of Jubilee. We don't need to have all of that, bro. Yeah. But yeah, man, I just want to go over, predatory capitalism. This is the system of economy that runs this place, and why it's running people ragged, and why it's running the earth ragged. And this is why, another reason why this man has to be put down and taken out of rulership, man. All right, he can never have enough. So with that being said, I'm going to say, call halal Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakar Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone. Much peace, love, salutation to Yakim out there pushing the word of Yahweh, Yahushua, sincerity and truth. Shalom.